Councilmember Gray, Councilmember Shaley, Councilmember McBride, Councilmember Mitchell, Councilmember Brady, Councilmember Waring, Councilmember Thickings, Councilmember Tinkler, Councilmember Bowden, Councilmember O'Pennell, Councilmember Parker, Mayor Cogswell.
Here. All right, I'd then like to ask Councilmember Seekings to give the invocation and lead everybody to pledge allegiance.
Mayor, really Memorial Day, let's all take a moment of silence and reflect in honor of those who gave of themselves so that we could all be good in that community.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right. We have one proclamation this week recognizing National Tennis Month. So I would like to invite Bob Pfeiffer, Bill Enos, and other Low Country Tennis Association board members, as well as Peggy Bone and the city tennis manager, to join me up at the podium. And whoever else would like to come on up, if we got some young tennis players, you're welcome to join me up here. I read the proclamation. Come on in, come on in.
They don't need to take photos, you want to start.
All right. Whereas the United States Tennis Association, the nonprofit national governing body for tennis, has declared the month of May as National Tennis Month to encourage players, organizations, facilities, and others to promote local programs and activities at tennis clubs, parks, and other facilities, to showcase tennis and spread the word about the sport and its benefits, and to help players and prospective players alike find courts and play opportunities in their communities. And whereas the Low Country Tennis Association, the fourth largest city-based tennis league in the nation, joins with other local tennis organizations such as the Low Country Youth Tennis Association, the Charleston Area Ladies Tennis Association, the Charleston Area Adaptive Tennis Community, the Charleston Westside Tennis Club, and a host of public and private tennis facilities to provide a robust menu of opportunities for our citizens to enjoy this great game in which courtesy and good sportsmanship are the norm, in which, whether you are 5 or 95, is just plain fun. And whereas playing tennis has a positive impact from a host of medical perspectives, including as documented by medical studies, that tennis players live on average 9.7 years longer than non-tennis players, and that playing tennis just 3 hours a week reduces a person's risk of cardiovascular disease by 56%. And whereas the USTA in 2010 recognized Charleston as the best tennis town in America, and whereas the city of Charleston's Department of Recreation organizes the School Team Tennis League, which in the spring of 2024 was comprised of 163 teams and 1,600 players. And whereas the City of Charleston Department of Recreation founded the award-winning Courting Kids program, now over 30 years old, that has provided our youth from 5 to 17 opportunity to participate in a tennis program that enables them to build self-esteem, to achieve personal success through a variety of tennis experiences. And whereas for the second consecutive year, the Credit One Charleston Open was recognized as the Women's Tennis Association Tournament of the Year in recognition of excellence of its staff and its organization, passionate fans, and the tournament's wider dedication to tennis and its athletes. Now, therefore, I, William S. Cogswell, Mayor of the City of Charleston, do hereby proclaim May 2024 National Tennis Month.
All right, good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor. I'm Bill Ennis. I'm president of the Low Country Tennis Association and a proud citizen of the city of Charleston. I want to quickly review the numbers we passed out to you earlier. They just show the growth and success of tennis in the U.S. And the Low Country, and specifically Charleston. Looks like this when we passed it out. So if you can take a look at it, 24 million Americans played tennis last year in the United States. That's a record. 20% of them for the first time ever. That's a record. The Low Country Tennis Association is now the 4th largest by registrations in the United States, with only Atlanta, Denver, Dallas larger than the LCTA. There's 6 million people in Atlanta, and they're number 1. We're number 4. It's an amazing thing. Bringing it to South Carolina, the Low Country Tennis Association, 16,000 registrations in 2023. We are the largest in the state by far. 16,000 registrations. The second closest to us is Greenville with 6,000. That's how big that we are, and that's how much people love tennis here. And bringing it to Charleston, we have a remarkable profile. If you look at the right-hand corner here, the chart that I handed out to you, it shows the numbers being generated out of the Charleston Tennis Center, Maybank, and the other 70 different locations that you can play tennis in Charleston. 500 adults and children take lessons a week in Charleston. 1,600 children, which you can see here represented, participate in the Charleston School Tennis League. It is renowned in the United States. They called Peggy Boney and asked her from California how it was so successful. 480 children this summer are going to go to tennis camps in Charleston. You oversee this. And then I want to introduce some of our youth school tennis players that are with us here today from kindergarten to the 8th grade. These are from schools around Charleston. They live in your council districts. They wanted to see you. We wanted them to see how you do it. And these children, they're the future in Charleston. They're going to grow up here. And you never know, one of them might become mayor as well. See, Megan Frazier, where's Megan? Where's Megan? Yeah, Megan is super excited. Megan just won most improved for her school at Angel Oak. We have a big trophy for her, but we have a round of applause for all of them. And lastly, our last number is 5,000. That's $5,000 that we just gave the Charleston Tennis Center for court improvements. So I'm very happy to give this big check. Thank you, Amazon. To Charleston. Thank you. That's for court improvements. Thank you for support. We need more courts. We need more courts to make Charleston healthier for our citizens, both old and young. Thank you very much.
All right, moving we're gonna have, Christopher Morgan will be presenting on the screen, and we'll have public hearing comments after. I'll again ask council to hold your questions until the end of the, all the, items on the agenda, and when we're done hearing from the public, then we can, have it. So, Christopher, turn it over to you.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. President, would we be able to take 1 through 6 together?
One motion to take, items 1 through 6 together. A motion probably second, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, ayes have it. All right, we'll take 1 through 6 together.
This might need to be turned up a little bit. Okay, all right, starting, E1, this is 606 Savannah Highway. It's a request to go from the current SR1 classification to residential office. The location is shown on the map in front of you. It's adjacent to a parcel that is, zoned residential office. It's not far from the Savannah Highway overlay. This site is a existing single-family home. I'll show you an image of it in just a minute, but it does have room for the required parking in the rear of the property, which is a key requirement for the RO designation. It also, the applicant has worked with the neighborhood, and the neighborhood is not objecting to this request. We'll go through these slides here real quick. In our comprehensive plan, it's shown the suburban, so the RO would be in line with that suburban designation. And we just got comparisons of both the different things that are allowed. In this instance, the applicant would be using the facility for a barber and beauty shop, which is allowed under RO. And just an aerial image that shows the backyard with parking. This is the property in question, and the planning commission did recommend approval of this one. And the next one is a recently annexed property at 2901 Maybank Highway in Johns Island. This would come into the city as a limited business designation. It's an existing restaurant that opened in the last year on Maybank Highway. It's in our neighborhood edge designated area on Maybank, which would be in line with the limited business designation. And here's just an image of it, and an image of the restaurant that's there is the parking on the front. And the planning commission also recommended approval on this. And then the remainder are recent residential annexations, and these are all, this first one is 1540 Jones Street, which is an SDR recommended zoning. There's the image of the property, recommended approval. The next one is 1912 Holmes Road on James Island, recommended for SR1. And we have the image of the property there. And then the next one is 2450 Birkenhead Drive in West Ashley, which was recommended for SR1 as well. That go. And then number 6, which is 2965 Innisbrook Court in West Ashley. Image there, and it's recommended for SR1 as well. Those are the public hearings for this evening.
People we have signed up to speak.
So we have 9 people signed up for public hearings. And would you like to set the time limit? All right, the time is 1 minute, Anthony time. And these are for public hearing items 1 through 6.
Anthony G. Brad, 21 to be Fulton Avenue, 29403. I love Charleston Acres. The question I have is with the planning commission and zoning board in terms of notice to communities. Now, the first one, you said there's no community input or there was no community concern. How do we measure that? Because we've got a rezonings in our community. This is about current plan of the city for 2020. We've increased your notices to those immediate neighborhoods, knock on doors, code enforcement, whatever you got to do, you got to do to enforce the law on people. You should have to get an appropriate notice on what's coming in neighborhoods. And we had an ingress and egress again from the commission and the BZA in concert in creating capacity. Lastly, with the annexations, who are you going to tax? Those people or the developers who's bringing the growth to Charleston not being taxed at all?
Muhammad Idris.
I was sure picture. 1976. This is the son of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And he picked up the flag of the United States to walk from 74 to Grand Park downtown in Chicago. People was urinating on the flag, burning the flag, using it for toilet paper. And he picked it up. And this is Muhammad Ali, myself with the flag in my hand. A great flag, it's our flag. And we love it, it's our country. This last Saturday, an ugly thing happened, very ugly. We're working on the east side to try to help our youth, help ourselves, and plan for our future. And we had a jump cast on some put-up cement park. And the policemen and them came and ran us off the park. That's a damn shame.
And then Darvis.
Well, Mr. Council, thank you all so much for your leadership, our word you said it. So proud of you and all you're doing. Now, I understand on this, piece on the rezoning bill 606 Savannah Highway, and speaks for that. I understand that the, zoning folks are recommending, so going to the judge is going with you, quick talking. So, be very brief, the fact is, it's right on Savannah Highway, and it actually should be what Alice is trying to put there. It's not a road. This is right between the Methodist Church and the parish right there. And therein is zone for offices, and I think this should also be true. Thank you very much.
Was there anyone else who signed up to speak for public hearings? Yes. So this is for public hearings. We're having citizens participation later in the meeting. Was there anyone who needed to speak on public hearings? This is items 136.
It was one of the 136. Sorry.
We did receive one other comment, sorry. A resident from Moreland said that Moreland usually did not support rezoning requests, but after meeting with Councilman Tinkler and owner Landis Powers, reviewing all associated city ordinances and walking the property's unique location, Moreland would not oppose the rezoning request from SR1 to RO, and those were the only comments we received.
To a motion, probably seconded. Do we have any further discussion on any of these items? If not, all those in favor, signal by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? I have it. Okay, moving on now, we are at approval of the minutes, last meeting. Motion probably second, all those in favor, signal by saying aye. Opposed? I have it. Now we're on citizens participation. And recollect that, or just remind folks that citizens participation is 30 minutes. How many people do we have signed up?
We have 10.
All right, we'll give a minute. And I'm going to remind everybody of the rules of decorum. And just let everybody know that if I bang this gavel twice, then that will be the signal for you to be removed from the premise. And depending on what the offense is, may be charged with disorderly conduct. So we ask people to be respectful. We ask people to silence their telephones. We ask people to not direct their comments to individual council members. This is not a question and answer session. This is here for public commentary. So, let's start with
Anthony Bryan.
Anthony. Mr. Anthony G. Brown.
Mr. Anthony G. Brown. This is from the court, the jury. Okay, what happened last week was appalling. What he said is appalling. It's un-American to say it. Our individual agencies are our own, given me by my ancestors as slaves. You didn't give me my agency at all. You won't take it. So the bottom line is, our agencies are our own. We're here to bring public forum and public engagement. You're for efficiency, remind 4 years from now, we will be reminded of this minute stuff. We got to vote based on forever.
Kevin Everly.
Stephen Everly with 367 president of Hampton Park Terrace. Thank you very much again for having us. You may remember that 2 weeks ago, several of the neighbors from the neighborhood came to the body when we were meeting out at Charleston Landing and opposed strong terms the Citadel's plans to convert their football stadium into the area's largest outdoor concert venue. The overwhelming opposition from the neighborhood has remained. There's been no outreach from the Citadel. And so this evening, I helped coordinate a new batch of neighbors who would be able to come and offer maybe some different perspectives as to why they're also opposed. So just please know that the neighbors do strongly oppose the plans.
Mia Manis.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Mia Manus. I live at 191 G Street in Hampton Park Terrace. I am here to voice my opposition to the Citadel's plan for concerts at Hagan Stadium. I live about 2.5 blocks from Hagan Stadium, and when the Citadel is doing football games, the cannons are in my backyard. When you hear the roar of the crowd, it's in my backyard. When there's a concert on occasion at the Joe, I can sit on my front porch and listen to it. I don't really want that in my backyard too. The traffic at the Joe for they're all the same to me. For a baseball game, if you have to go that way, give it up because you're gonna be sitting there. That's then gonna be in my neighborhood instead of 4 to 6 blocks, half a mile away. As y'all are moving forward and considering this, I think you need to consider the fact that in this town, very often, it does not feel as if the citizens are the first people that are.
Time.
Thank you very much.
John Paul.
Good evening. I'm John Paul. I live at 5 Kenilworth, 29403, right around the corner from the stadium. In 1971, I got a degree in technical theater. That's backstage work. For the next 53 years, I worked in that field to right up to the last Christmas. I was the production manager for Phantom of the Opera, Les Miserables, Miss Saigon, and for decades I worked for the Spoleto system. That's why I'm here in Charleston. I am strongly opposed to rock and roll concerts at the stadium. I know what is entailed. I'm happy to speak about it to anyone who would like to speak with me. But it is big time, big noise, bright lights, day and night, and it's not going to be pleasant for the neighborhood. Thank you.
Carolyn Casopoulos.
Hello, my name is Karen Kostopoulos. I also live at 5 Kenilworth Avenue. And for 40 years, I was the costume director of the Spoleto Festival. So I also know about theater, not the kind that he knows about. When we first moved into the neighborhood, on the very first day of the football season, a car parked across our driveway. And we called the police, no one ever came. And we were just out of luck. That's how it is. If we needed to go to the hospital or go grocery shopping or anything, there was nothing for us to do. I can only imagine that this would happen much worse. I know I've been on many loadouts at the Gale Yard, and they work all through the night and make tremendous amounts of noise, but the Gale Yard is enclosed, and so the neighbors surrounding it can sleep and eat and do whatever they need to do without.
Time.
Okay.
Jim Myron.
Thank you for having us. You see how important this is. And if you listen just carefully to what you've heard, you know, traffic, noise, lifestyle, all these things are huge impositions on a day-to-day experience for all of us. This is how we live our lives. That's why we're here to you and with you as a group that we know is sympathetic. We know you listen. That's why you do what you do. We're grateful for that. What we keep hearing is that this is revenue. This is the Citadel needs this revenue. But the Citadel Foundation demands $285 million. I think if they move money around a bit, they could find a way to accomplish that. And the athletic department alone is $29 million. So if they make $50,000 off a concert, weigh that in there's terrific permanent impact. It'll have on a jewel of Charleston, Hampton Park, Harris, our neighborhoods, a jewel of Charleston. And the last thing I'll say is we've been good neighbors to the Citadel. But this is overreach. And it's not as if the Citadel doesn't have other options. The house, the field house has 6,000 people, that would be fine for a concert, their own party. Thank you very much.
Nita Lees.
Mayor, good to see y'all again. I'm just here to invite you to attend an event that we are having that pertains to our sister city partnership with Spoleto, Italy. Many of you have received this as an email, but I've been to personally invite council and mayor and staff to this event next Monday, and it will be across from the Gale Yard at Southern First, and plenty of parking. If you're going to be heading over to the Gale Yard, and just simply walk across the street. So we look forward to seeing you there, and we have other upcoming programs and events that we know you'll be happy to support us on, and those include next week also the 80th anniversary of D-Day in Normandy, and we have our sister city partnership with Blair, France. So more programming on that for you next week. Anyway, there's lots to talk about down the line with council and mayor as time permits. So I look forward to chatting with you in more detail later. Thank you. We'll probably see you next week.
Brittany Phillips.
Thanks also for having us. Thank you, Councilman Gregory, for his leadership on the Citadel concert issue. It seems like the more we talk to our neighbors, the more reasons we hear this is just a bad idea for the Citadel to do this concert series. I was reminded when these tennis players were up, really, we've got 6 perfectly good tennis courts at Jack Adams Center, who's constantly, they live right across the street. The Citadel moves ahead of the plan. These courts are going to be out of commission for multiple weekends per year. So these kids that were up here, they're playing tennis downtown, they're going to have to look elsewhere. So the more we talk about this, the more we support the issue, the more we realize there's more and more negatives associated with this plan. We really appreciate your support and I'm going to let you post it. Seriously.
Diana Yarborough.
Mayor, City Council, thank you so much for having us speak. I'm here again tonight to also continue what my neighbors have said, and other neighbors that I've spoken with who are not able to be here tonight would like you to know is that the neighborhood is not in favor of seeing Johnson Hagen turned into the largest outdoor concert venue with multiple stages and over 14,000 attendees. It's simply not something that the neighborhood can withstand. The traffic, the parking, noise and safety issues that would arise from that are, it's hard to even imagine, and I don't know how the city would manage or have the neighborhood. And the livability of the city should matter. I know you guys have to care about the residents who live here. I want to continue to see families and animals and everybody live in the city. Thank you.
Dee Ford.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. Thank you for the opportunity to visit and speak. I live at 500 Peachy Street in Hampton Park Terrace Neighborhood Association. I've lived in Charleston for more than 20 years and Hampton Park Terrace for 17 of those years. I work at the Medical University of South Carolina. I've raised all 3 of our children in the Hampton Park Terrace neighborhood. And I'm strongly opposed to the concert series proposed by A Good City and the Citadel. I think my neighbor peers have emphasized a number of points, but I want to reemphasize the concerns about safety. This is where my children have ridden their bikes, where they felt safe and have been safe due to the hard work of many people in the municipal space. And I certainly think that a concert series will erode the actual and perceived safety of our neighborhood, including for families that are raising their own young children in the area. So thank you for the opportunity to make a comment.
Was there anyone who I missed? All right, we did receive one comment online. And this was from a citizen on Magnolia Avenue. They said that they needed another traffic light as families have been suffering and trying to cross the streets for years. And those were all the comments we received.
Okay, moving on to petitions and communications. There's one item under petitions and communication. This is the approval of the plan related to transforming the municipal bond court to the city's, transferring the municipal bond court hearings to the city's municipal court, which was approved at the public safety meeting on May 15th. Second. Motion probably seconded. All those in favor, any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, ayes have it. Next up, we have committee reports. I'd like to call on Councilman Gregg for wisdom. Move for approval. Okay.
I moved in our report,
Okay. We have a motion probably seconded for ways and means. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, ayes have it. All right, now we're up to the second reading. There are 8 items up for second. Let me just make a note that items 1 and 2 are as amended. So we have a motion and properly seconded to take items 1 through 8 together. Any discussion on that? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, ayes have it. We have a motion probably seconded to approve items 1 through 8. Any discussion? If none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Shall these bills pass, the titles thereof be changed to ordinances and be ordered gross for ratification? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, there are no bills up for first reading. And I got to sign a few things. You have some, Captain Ware.
I just want to welcome back changes. Chief Municipal Judge. He's great changes before. There's nothing like it when he comes back in here.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that acknowledgement. Thank you for wearing.
And Mr. Mayor, with this meeting concluding at the earliest possible hour, if Mr. D or Ms. Copeland would like to for us for dinner.
Not as fast as I was saying the guy.
Yeah.
Sign. Any other comments that are going to be called? If not, the next meeting will be held on June 18th at City Hall. If there's no further, one thing I did want to note on next meeting, it will start at 4 p.m. so that we can, make our way to the, Charleston Memorial. So, any other questions? Yes, sir.
Don't be about the community development meeting is gonna happen, it's gonna be getting in-person meeting, creating the plan, workshop.
We got it. June 6th. What was the time? 3 o'clock. Okay.
Maximum complimentary, please come, if you have any questions at this time.
Good time to do it. Okay. Councilman Bell.
Just because Councilmember Mitchell, brought it up, which I appreciate you doing, it's very important, that's the joint meeting to get an update on our zoning rewrite, which is an enormously important issue. I would just make the recommendation, it'd be wonderful if we could get some materials from the consultants prior to that meeting, so we can maybe hit the ground running. I mean, I haven't seen a single piece of paper from anybody on this project, and I think it'd be helpful for us to have a little light reading before the meeting.
Glad to do that, with the one caveat, of course, being that this is very, very much in the infancy. I want to take any of these recommendations or preliminary recommendations with a grain of salt. It needs to be discussed among council so that we don't get too far down the road and have to backtrack. So I just want to throw that caveat out there that this is very much a work in progress. So if there's no further business, we stand adjourned.